All right, before we get started here today, I've got a couple of notes to mention, and I do want to read these out very clearly because it was told to me that these are actually a little bit difficult to read for some people with visual issues, and I haven't had a chance to change them out yet. So I want to read them very clearly. I want to start out by saying I am not an expert. I'm just a person with an opinion. Today, I'm going to be discussing the music industry, and I am absolutely not an expert on the music industry. Next, I want to say that thoughts, feelings, and opinions expressed on this channel are solely my own thoughts, feelings, and opinions, nothing more. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm not somebody who has all of the answers. I'm just telling you how I feel. Lastly, and most important of all, bullying and harassment are wrong and will not be tolerated on this channel. Do not bully or harass anyone mentioned in this video. Do not bully or harass people in the chat or the comments. Thank you. People who do these things will very quickly find themselves booted from my channel, both on Twitch and YouTube. All right. So now that we've got that out of the way, hello, lovely people of the internet. 'Tis I, Ophelia Hartwig, aka Savage Minnow, aka Red Person. How's everybody doing today? Sabatini says, hey, I'm getting ready to go sign for your house. Woo! Yay! I don't know if we're going to be going for even more than an hour today. I do have just some quick stuff that I want to talk about, but also when I say quick stuff, that means, like 3 pages of notes. So, we'll give it a go and see. Also, a heads up for YouTube viewers. I am probably going to be changing receipts. Yes, I do. I have screenshots, and I will have addresses for articles and everything on YouTube down in the description. I did not have time this morning to make Nightbot commands for all of the articles, but you can find them in the description, and you can ask me, and I'll try and copy them over at the end if you remind me in the chat. I also forgot to turn my lights on. But yeah, because I'm going to be changing the channel name, I got these out of order. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. Since I'm going to be changing the channel name, if you want merch that says Red Person on it, that's probably going to be limited time. You do check out the merch shop. streamlabs.com/OpheliaHartwig/merch. If you want the Red Person Pumpkin Gate merch, it is limited time. It's the stuff with the actual pumpkin on it. All says Red Person in the logo. So I think I'm probably just going to change it to Savage Minnow. We'll see. Anyway, heads up on that. Today we are talking about DaBaby, which whenever I say it, I feel like I'm talking about in our house, we call the dog the baby, but we squish it together like that. So every time I say it, I think I'm talking about Lizzie, the baby. I don't actually think that, but it feels like it a little bit. But for those of you who are more visual people, I'm a more visual person usually. This is who I'm talking about, the rapper, DaBaby. He made some remarks last month at a performance. The performance was the Rolling Loud performance. Now, those of you who are familiar with my channel know that I am not the most up on the music industry. I'm familiar with Bob Dylan and hair bands from the 70s and 80s, and that's about it. Okay, that's about all I know. So I did try to do, like I said, some research. I got my outline here, but Rolling Loud is indeed a musical performance. I looked that up to confirm. I was also told in passing that before even he made these remarks, he was disrespectful to Megan Thee Stallion by apparently having the person who allegedly shot her on set. I was like, what? Like, I don't have time to like look into all of this because like I'm here for talking about these remarks. But I was just like, there's so much going on here. I feel like this could be a very deep well, and I like stopped diving when I could find some handholds. So sorry, I don't have like more information on that, but that's just allegations. You can look that up and find out more information on that. But he did make these remarks on stage, and I did find basically the whole comment that he had. Some people were just kind of like reporting the first part of this, but there's two parts to it. First part being, if you didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, or any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2 to 3 weeks, then put your cell phone lighter up. Fellas, if you ain't sucking D in the parking lot, put your cell phone lighter up. No, I think what he means is like, is that like your light on your cell phone, right? Like this, like, is that, because like, again, I'm old. I'm familiar with like literally like a big lighter, but I think that's like the new version of that because don't smoke, kids. Yay for not smoking. But as you can tell, these comments are, well, first of all, like it's wrong. If anybody out there is confused, you don't die from HIV or AIDS even in just a matter of weeks. In fact, HIV at this point, there are really great medications where you can live a normal life with a viral load that is like absolutely at a low, even undetectable level to where it may not interfere with your life expectancy whatsoever if it's diagnosed early. So obviously, like information is incorrect, right? And the second part of this is quite homophobic. Cell phone lights are the replacement for lighters. Okay, good to know. Oh, they have apps that look like lighters. That's cool. That's really cool. So, but the second part is not cool. The first part's not cool. Second part also not cool. Fellas, if you ate fucking D in the parking lot, put your cell phone lighter up. So he came back on this, like he was pressed. People like came out obviously against it. People like the Queen of Queers himself. Gotta love her. Gotta love him. Sorry, I did that the wrong way. Gotta love him. Elton John over here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna take this off so you can see him. Came back and said, "Hey, like that's not cool." I think. Let me see. I thought I had what he had said. He had tweeted about it. And I guess I don't have that one. Dang. But a lot of people, including Elton John, basically came out and said, hey, like it's not okay. Oh, here it is. Here it is. So this was just one of 5 tweets. We've been shocked to read about the HIV misinformation and homophobic statements made at a recent DaBaby's show. This fuels stigma and discrimination and is the opposite of what the world needs to fight the AIDS epidemic. Facts are, and there's, this is one of 5, so it continues on from here, but HIV misinformation and homophobia have no place in the music industry. We must break down the stigma around HIV and not spread it. As musicians, it's our job to bring people together, which, again, I'm not part of the music industry, but I think this is the case for any industry. I really do. Also, it had more information, educating DaBaby. He apparently did not take well to this education, and basically kind of doubled down and made statements that were basically the way that I read it, and I was, again, looking for screenshots this morning and I couldn't find them, but the way that I felt about his initial comments were that it was almost like choosing sides between homophobia and racism, like which to fight. And like, I'm just saying, like, as a member of the LGBTQIA community, I want to be able to reach out and hold hands with other oppressed groups, and like we can work together and fight together to fight both homophobia and racism and misogyny and like all the other like people like who are oppressing, right? We can fight all of oppression together. It's not one or the other. And that is, I just wanted to make a personal note about that. Because I do feel like there was a lot of like this type of shit, right? He'd also made a comment trying to like basically double down, saying like, oh well, I'm fine with gay people, but I'm not fine with dudes who F like that, I think was the comment. And like the gay dudes who listen to his shit are not dudes who are gonna F like that, which to me is like, okay, so you're saying that it's okay for women to F like that, and it's not okay for men to F like that. Like, it's okay for women to be sucking dick in the parking lot, but it's not okay for men to be sucking dick in the parking lot? Like, which is it? Because that's still sexism. Like, either way, you know, it's like... So, that's kind of my feelings on it. And yes, absolutely 100% defending Elton John over here and his remarks and his education that he reached out, trying to educate Elton John, or trying to educate DaBaby. So I think it was like 6 or 7 festivals canceled DaBaby and his performances. Like, they didn't like cancel DaBaby, right? They canceled his performances. Including iHeartRadio and Lollapalooza, which, like, again, as I said, I'm not somebody who knows a lot about the music industry at all by far, but I'm just gonna like take this off of the screen because I don't want to see it. There was a clothing company that canceled. They were going to do a release of designs that they had collaborated on with him. Which, like, iHeartRadio, Lollapalooza, those are like 2 like such big shows that like even I know about them, right? Me, who knows nothing about the music industry, even I knew those names. Those are huge contracts to lose. Yeah. Yeah, and in many ways he is being deplatformed by these, 6 or 7 different venues that are literally canceling his performances. One of them is actually replacing him with Young Thug, which is also another controversial figure. But like I was saying about like the Shannon Thee Stallion stuff, I had to stop, like grab some handholds somewhere down this well before I like went all the way down it. But yeah, enter the chat at this point. Princess Heir Apparent to the Mullet Kingdom, Her Royal Highness, Miley Cyrus. Again, I mean that with love. As I said with Elton, like that he's the queen of the queers. Like I mean it with love, okay? For those of you who are not familiar, Miley is a member of the LGBTQIA community, and she, I believe, sent him a Twitter mention with just something along the lines of, hey, check your DMs. So we don't know the actual like full text of what it is that she said to DaBaby, but she has released that she did say this in part. As a proud and loyal member of the LGBTQIA plus community, much of my life has been dedicated to encouraging love, acceptance, and open-mindedness. The internet can fuel a lot of hate and anger and is the nucleus of cancel culture, but I believe it can be a place filled with education, conversation, communication, and connection. Now, I'm not going to get into like the whole cancel culture shit here, because like you guys have heard me talk about how like the term cancel culture, I believe, has been like taken out of context of what it was originally supposed to mean. And I also want to take a moment here to mention that it is not Princess Miley's responsibility to educate DaBaby, to reach out to him, to have the patience with him. And if you are a person who is in a position where you need to walk away from a conversation, you need to unplug from a certain topic, whatever, you need to take your time, that is absolutely legitimate and should be respected by everybody. Okay. I just want to say that this was not Miley's responsibility, but lucky for us, Her Royal Highness had the bandwidth to deal with this, and she reached out to him, and I just want to commend her for that. Even if DaBaby had immediately like doubled down again, or I guess it would be like octupled down again, whatever, I think that it was still a worthy thing to do. Just to reach out to somebody that you disagree with from a place of compassion, I think is a worthy cause if you have the bandwidth for it. Again, not everybody does, and let's not shame people who need to step away. But I think that, so I come from like a really rural area, and as somebody who, again, is a member of the queer community, who is married to a trans woman, like, I realize that like telling people that they're stupid is like, it's never an effective way of affecting change, right? Nobody ever was like told to their face, oh, you're stupid. And they were immediately like, oh yeah, you're right, I'm stupid. Like, it doesn't work like that. I'm not going to ever not be able to think of Miley as Her Royal Highness. I mean, but she is, though. She's heir to the Mullet Kingdom, I think. But I want to commend her for that. It made me think of, there's a woman who, she's either like a daughter or a granddaughter of one of the preachers of the Westboro Baptist Church, who, if you're not familiar with, they're called a church, but they're really about spreading hate. And when she talks about like the way that she found her way out of that, it was through the compassion of other people, and people who didn't just like shut her down, and who didn't just dismiss her out of hand. And so I just want to like, sorry for like the little side tangent there, but I just really wanted to commend Miley for having the bandwidth to deal with that. And DaBaby did issue an apology. Now, whether or not that was like due to Miley's influence, or probably more likely due to the influence of having been canceled by multiple people, I want to see if he makes the changes. Now, it's not my place to like to say whether or not DaBaby is canceled, but I feel like, to me, it kind of brings back, you guys are sick of hearing me talk about Joe Rowling on my channel, I'm sure, but I have to, again, just giving people the space to make the change. I've talked about how I'm saving up used copies of the Harry Potter series to give to my nieces and nephews when they get old enough. And there's going to have to be a conversation that goes along with that. And depending on the choices that Joe Rowling makes between then and now might depend on how that, might change how that conversation goes. I would like to give Joe Rowling the space to change, right? I would like to envision a world where Joe Rowling realizes that my wife and people like her deserve access to women's spaces, right? Like that's, and I'm waiting for her to make that realization, and I will welcome her with open arms when she does. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional about it, but I think I should do a whole video on J. Rowling. Maybe I might, but I might get a little bit upset about it. But Yeah, so DaBaby issued this apology, or it might have been written by his PR team. And like, to me, it's even if it was written by his PR team, to me, it just puts the ball in his court. Is now his place to make the actions to back up the words, right? Because actions speak louder than words. And for somebody like Joe Rowling, words can be actions. But the same is true for DaBaby. You know, let's see, do his lyrics change? Do the things that he says at his at the concerts that he does still perform change? Just how do his comments on Twitter change? He has a social media presence. So I would like to leave the door open for him to change. And to me, this statement says that he might give it a try. So is he canceled? I think that's the question of the day, right? Is he canceled? Well, as I said at the top, it's not really my place. I was never somebody who was a consumer of his music, his merch, his art. So I don't have a DaBaby subscription to cancel, right? It's not up to the media. It's not up to anybody else making videos. It's up to you guys, the consumers, you guys who were listening to DaBaby music before. Is this something that you want to see this change? You know, do you want to see actions to back up this change? Unfortunately, I feel like some of it might be hollow. And unfortunately, I do feel like a lot of his audience is already kind of preconditioned to being okay with the homophobia and being okay with that type of talk and action, that he might not feel so inclined to actually back it up. But that's where, again, the industry and the shows being canceled and these like huge venues canceling him might help with that. It might. But like I said about the one place there, they have Young Thug coming in, who is another controversial figure, but he brings in the numbers, right? So I think in a lot of cases, the industry might default to what brings in the numbers. I don't know. I would like to not think that, but I do think in a lot of cases that is the case. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the chat, in the comments. Do you think DaBaby should be canceled? Do you have a DaBaby subscription that you wish to cancel or that you wish to keep? Let me know. All right, guys. I think I'm going to send you on a raid today. Vagrant Sam is playing RimWorld. And I don't know how many raids he's gotten before, but I know that he just recently got to where his channel's monetized. So let's go raid him and send him some love. If you want, if you're interested in coming along. Let's see. I think it's this. No? Did I spell it wrong? Might have spelled it wrong. Sometimes I'm bad at spelling. I want him to change, but I'm not invested in him as a person. I totally understand that. And I feel like that is kind of how wifey is. That is the style of music that she listens to. And she's like, I never really like got into a shit to start with because whatever. So I'm not that invested. So yeah, I totally understand that aspect. All right, guys, thank you for the great convo. Let me get my end screen up here with all of my thank yous. Today is your birthday. I want to wish you a very, very happy birthday. Either way, I hope you make it a good one. Thank you all for spending the time with me today. I'm going to try and get this up on YouTube as soon as possible. If you are coming with us on the raid, this is your reminder to keep your arms and legs inside of the carriage at all times while the raid is in motion. Failure to do so